Hey everybody, this is Bryce Machine Bates from Team Evil Geniuses, and this is going to be another replay review brought to you by evilgeniuses.net. Today's replay is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss against Infinity 7 Axlev, so let's go ahead and jump into the game. Alright, let's get this started, speed up through the beginning. The sort of concept I wanted to go over in this replay in particular today was a lot of players aren't really sure the exact reaction to a one gateway early third base expand. It's becoming very common, and a lot of people think that the proper sort of reaction to the early third is actually the sort of Stefano-esque max roach timing, but that's actually not really the case. If you allow them to get that early of a third, they have good enough production and are allowed to wall off early enough that they can inevitably deal with the roach timing pretty efficiently. So it's actually not the proper reaction. Instead, you basically just have to play even greedier than your opponent, which is it's pretty, I don't know, it plays for some interesting games. So as we see here, pretty common. I send my early third or expansion drone directly in my third because I know every Protoss blocks the expansion with their first pylon. Overlord on 15. This was a 15 pool. It's very common for this sort of early 3-base gasless timing. And then from here, start my queen. 4 Zerglings in production. In case he left this pylon here, I could target it down very quickly and then expand myself. And also, once the pylon's targeted down, I could take each of the Xel'Naga watchtowers, scout for cannon rushes behind my third, and then try to find this hidden probe, which is actually just hiding in plain sight at the Xel'Naga watchtower. So, first queen's just about complete. I'm splitting up my Zerglings. And then second queen should start in production, yep. And then I'm gonna go ahead, spawn larva with this queen, and then transfer it directly to the third. Meanwhile, I'm also transferring, looks like 3 drones, should be 5 drones to the third. And then taking my expansion at 25 supply. So there's the other 2 drones. All right. Scouting for a third base already. I should actually be scouting for this probe. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's very common for most Protosses to actually hide their initial probe scout like up around behind here or up inside this top left expansion, just to try to get a read on their opponent, because they eventually need to see if they've gone ahead, secured this early third, because if not, it's very obviously either like a Ling Baneling all-in or a Roach all-in. So second queen's complete. I've started my spawn larva here, and the next 25 energy will be actually a creep tumor bridging my third and my natural together so that they're more easily defended. And from here on, it's just pure Zergling or pure drone production for now. You really need to get this economy up, especially against this early Forge Expand style. You know, because a lot of Protosses, due to Chrono Boost, are actually going to have the harvester count advantage until this third actually gets online. So, and as we see here, at the 44 supply mark, we should see me take both the Vespene Geysers in my main. Yep. So immediately at that 44 supply, taking both the Vespene Geysers in my main. Should start a third queen here pretty quickly at the natural, and then just bridging the bases together. So very common stuff. Now, notice this early Zergling placement. At about 6:30, Axlev throws down a Nexus at his third base. And he knows I'm trying to read for this. He wants to prevent this scout however possible. So he's actually pushed it down with a sentry. I'm probably going to go ahead and suicide him back in here soon just to make sure there is in fact a Nexus. And yeah, so once I scout this, it's completely different timings. I'm still getting my Roach Warren at 54 supply up here. But I actually recognize that at this point I need to drone to about 80 supply, try to grab a pretty decently early fourth, grab the Vespene Geysers at both my natural and my third very quickly, and then also start an early second evolution chamber to start my upgrades. Once I scout this Nexus, I'm not worried about any timings. at all, pretty much, until well after my 4th is up. So, my layer is almost complete. Started my first evolution chamber. Thespian geysers are complete at my natural. And at this point, my harvester count should still just be climbing. Yeah, nine harvesters in production, 4th queen still. And you really need to drone in what seems like almost over drone against this early 3rd style. So as you can see, his 3rd is already up. He's got a sentry there. It's completely walled off with 2 cannons. There's nothing I can really do at this point in the game unless I was already planning on trying to hit a timing previous to this that could cancel this 3rd 4-axe. He also has a cannon placed here, walling this off, well-placed sentries to force field. Very difficult to deal with. So as my layer completes, first thing that drops is my infestation pit, 2nd evo chamber. At this point in the game, I'm going to be extremely low on Vespians, so getting things like roach speed timing for roaches I'm not even going to use is completely unacceptable. Not producing them at all. I'm still getting, I think I should have gotten an early overseer, yeah, just to scout out, drop changelings. And these Vespian geysers are up at my 3rd. My 4th queen is purely on creep spread mode, because at this point in the game, I recognize I need basically the composition you need to hold the sort of 3-base mass Protoss death ball timing isn't roaches. It's not, you know, Hydralis or anything like that. What you actually need to tank is spine crawlers. Spine crawlers are the only thing that are strong enough, have the range, and are cost efficient enough because they only cost pure minerals to defend this 4th. So you'll notice I took the 4th that's up here instead of the one up here, because if I defend this base properly, I defend all of my bases properly. So eventually what I need is I need a big spine wall all along the center here, just to sit behind with infestors for the most part, and just try to defend all of my bases. So immediately as this infestation pit completes, I start my hive. I start a spire that will morph to greater spire. My 1/1 is still on its way. I have a macro hatchery, and I'm still droning. I'm at 80 harvesters right now to 74. Believe it or not, it's actually a bit lower than it should be. There we go, 91. You want to have somewhere between like 100 and 110, I'd say. So, going ahead here, taking both the Vespian geysers at the 4th, and upgrades still on their way. Could probably speed through this part. And now I know a lot of people are saying, you know, this is extremely greedy. You know, he could probably kill you right now. But as these spines go down, they're so well timed that along with this pathogen gland upgrade and my infestor production, I have 7 infestors on the way, that if I see him move out, because I actually have secured a Zolnaga watchtower right now, I will have more than enough time to produce the Zerglings and the infestors that I need in order to go ahead and kill this. And if he was also, I think, yeah, he's just now got his 2 robos on the way, because he shouldn't actually even have Colossus yet. My Greater Spire is actually timed out well enough that I will start Corruptor production and be able to deal with any sort of Colossus timing as well. So basically, the main thing I need to focus on at this point is producing spine crawlers all along this ridge, and I mean walls of spine crawlers, and then Corruptor production in order to produce Broodlords at the exact same time, while replacing the drones that I'm building. So let's see here, I'm producing, it's like about 8 or so, 7 spine crawlers, and if you look at my production tab, actually I'm not replacing the drones, but I should be. Adrenal glands complete, and from this point on, it's just going to be Corruptor production. The closer I get to this Greater Spire being completed, and then just trying to fend off any sort of timing that's about to hit. I have a decent 7 infestor count. You want to have somewhere between 7 and 9 at this point. 5 Corruptors in production, 2 2s on its way. Meanwhile, he's just 2-0, just now securing his 4th. 2 robotics support bays, thermal lance on the way. Pretty common. Fleet beacon. He obviously knows I'm trying to tech for this early broodlords if I haven't hit a timing yet, and needs to get that mothership out as soon as possible in order to deal with the broodlord-centric army. And now I have just more and more spines along the center. And once my broodlords are actually up, then I'm allowed to go ahead, take my 5th base. They'll allow me to hold it, because he's actually going to be so worried about pressure. Now here comes a big attack from Axlev. I had the Zolno watchtower. I've done a good job of scouting it. And I mean, I have nothing right now. He has 2 Colossus, a lot of sentries, a lot of stalkers, void rays, and I basically just have some, just a few broodlords, spine crawlers, and infestors with a handful of zerglings. But as long as I'm forcing him to commit here, hitting all of my fungals, not really allowing him to retreat too well, he's going to take the worst of this battle. As you can see here in the units lost production, I've lost a lot, but if you look at the resource count, it's pretty close. And if I hit a fungal like that, it's gonna, go way, way in my favor at this point in the game. So I'm able to kill off the final Colossus. Looks like these guys are gonna retreat just barely. And then at this point, I can't really get too far ahead of myself. The one nice thing that happened with that engagement is I had a handful of Zerglings that, well, I still do, but they're basically worthless at this point in the game. Sort of the Zerg Death Ball would be pure Broodlord, Corruptor, Infestor with no Zerglings. And you basically just try to use the Fungals and Infested Terrans to kind of tank for your Broodlords. So I recognize that he could be weak at this point in the game. I'm going to try to hit a timing. And then he realizes he's pretty weak at the same time, so he's going to go for a counter. Rather than trying to play a pretty sloppy game, get caught out of position, I opt to just not attack this 4th, trail this army, and fall farther and farther ahead in the units lost tab. So, as I said before, once my broodlords are online, I could go ahead and secure this 5th. Once again, put down a ton of stack defense at it. It's really common to have a lot of stack defense late game in order to deal with Warp Prism Harass at every single base. So here we go. Once again, I've cleaned up those stalkers. I'm going to go engage with my broodlords here. I recognize that if he's throwing that many units away at this point in the game, there's not really a whole lot he can do to sort of defend this attack. And he sacrifices the base. He recognizes it as well. And I have this tricky burrowed Zergling here at the bottom right, not allowing him to put it down on Nexus. And his 4th finally falls. Now most of his army is waiting back here. He basically has to wait until this mothership has 100 energy before he's actually able to go engage. He has to hit a big vortex against a Broodlord army like this in order to have any sort of chance at destroying it. Meanwhile, in my main, I'm starting my armor upgrade, putting down a lot of spines, as I said before, just to go ahead and defend these 2 spires, defend my main. A lot of spines up here to defend this, because this is probably the most vulnerable base at the moment. And then just focusing just about everything on Corruptor production in order to add in more Corruptors and then eventually more Broodlords to my army. And I don't want him to have this base right now. And I recognize there's still not a whole lot he can really do to prevent it. So he's already gone ahead, retaken this middle base. I recognize I'm going to kill this off, so I'm starting to retreat already with my Broodlords. And it falls. Now from here, as I said before, I want to have the most cost-efficient army I possibly can. And once again, he's trying to just get some sort of engagements here with minerals. And I'm able to just go fend that off with spine crawlers, and that was extremely cost-effective for me. And I need to basically, I don't know if I do this, but I need to basically get rid of these Zerglings at this point in the game. These Zerglings aren't really doing anything other than taking up supply. If we ever have a big army battle, they're just kind of pointless. The Broodlings serve the same purpose as them. So, yeah, I scout out his army a little bit, threw a few away there. Probably going to use the rest of them to go down here to the bottom right and try to inhibit him from having another base. That's exactly what I do. throw those away. It's going to free up a little bit more supply for me. Start a lot more broodlord production. The other thing I'm doing is trying to get rid of drones at this point, putting down more and more spines, even though I probably don't need them. This is just, once again, to free up supply. The more supply I can have in units and less in drones, the more cost-effective trades I'm going to get in each of these engagements. The other thing is overseers. You always want to make sure you have a few overseers distributed between your broodlords, because if he's able to go blink in, snipe the overseers, and then use the mothership in order to cloak his entire army, he can just engage your broodlords and you can't even see him, so obviously you can't kill him. It's a pretty nice way for Protosses to hit engagements. And anyways, looks like I'm going to go ahead, move forward here with a good 5 spines, just try to add them in to help tank and then give me positioning against his army. I realized that he would probably take this early, or this middle base once again, and so these spines will help give me a bit of an advantage in the engagement. Now notice, probably as I said before, the most important thing when engaging these Protoss death balls is spreading if they have a mothership. One vortex can win you the game, and I've lost plenty of games due to vortexes, trust me. So if all I really am focusing on right now, I'm just kind of forgetting about macro. I recognize that I'm maxed. Everything I'm doing has to be just focused on spreading these broodlords and getting the best out of this engagement. So I'm basically just going to try to spread all along the center here, wait for him to commit one way or the other, and then try to hit some good fungals, kill off his mothership with my corruptors, and basically just give him the worst vortexes he could possibly ask for. And if you get vortex, one nice thing to do is try to fungal archons and prevent them from actually getting inside the vortex. So, I've done a pretty decent job of spreading my army. He recognizes we're about to engage, so he's getting in position. And sometimes this can take a little bit. So I'm moving forward with the infestors, trying to get look ahead. He does a good job of feedbacking one infestor, but he loses a Templar for it. Decent trade. And now I'm starting to push forward most of my units. Sniped off a Void Ray there. He just hit a big blink, so I choose to engage with everything. Get some more feedbacks. I fungled the mothership, but he hit a vortex right here. Was able to get a decent amount of broodlords, but I've got a lot down here, and also this vortex is a lot harder for him because it's actually within spine range. I've tried to focus down these archons with my fungals and actually didn't allow any of them to get inside the vortex. That was very nice for me. Meanwhile, he's hitting some very good blinks. Some of my broodlords aren't quite engaging properly. And I was able to kill off the mothership, but it looks like he's actually going to be able to kill off my entire army right here. I mean, neither of us really made too big of mistakes there. Let's see, if we look at the units lost tab, it was still much more cost effective for me though, it seems. And now he's just trying to get some trades with these Void Rays. I recognize that I actually have a bit of a timing window because that mothership's gone. I don't have to worry about Vortex, and if I'm actually allowed to clump my units, my broodlords, and not spread out, then they're a lot more cost effective against particularly stalkers. So he's probably chronoing out a mothership here, yeah, as quickly as he can. And I'm just trying to morph as many broodlords as possible, add in a few infestors and corruptors to my production, and a bit supply block just due to the loss of the overseers. But I realized once these broodlords get up, I should try to hit another timing just before his mothership comes online again. So I don't know if I'm waiting for corruptors or not, but I should try to hit another engagement here. And here we go. Big fungal in the center there. Just caught him not looking. And sometimes that's all it really takes. I was able to pick off 2 Colossus and a Void Ray, a few Stalkers for nothing. And now I'm at about 70 supply advantage of Broodlord Infestor, Corruptor. That's just about the most cost-effective supply I could possibly ask for. decent upgrades, 2-1 on air, 3-3 on ground. So my broodlings are extremely strong. And now I'm just going in for a big engagement. I'm trying to attack as quickly as possible before the mothership gets out. Now I realize the mothership's out. I'm just going to try to target this down with my corruptors. I'm not really sure if I'll be able to get them. So probably not. But once again, I eliminate another mining base he had. And his mothership's extremely weak. There's nothing he could really do until he had a vortex to actually deal with these clump broodlords. And so, just by killing off that base, once again, I'm putting him in a very bad situation. He's running out of resources here. His third looks like it's the only base other than this bottom right that's actually mining. Meanwhile, I've secured 12. And I want to try to kill this base off as quickly as possible before he's able to go ahead and get a vortex. And he knows it. He has to hold this base in order to win. So he has no production, he has no income, he can't produce units, and he'll have nothing to deal with these broodlords. So I scout his army here, I scout the mothership, try to spread my units, engage with the corruptors as quickly as possible. I'm trying to bait a vortex on the corruptors, hit some fungals. He's storming, so I'm choosing to dodge with the broodlords. The mothership falls, everything else fell, and GG. Alright guys, once again I'm Bryce Machine Bates from Team Evil Geniuses, and this is another replay review brought to you by evilgeniuses.net. If you guys like this, you can find this and many more at evilgeniuses.net, so go ahead and check it out. Thank you guys very much.